you today? Happy Friday!
It's Friday. Happy Friday.
I'm so happy today's Friday. Okay, so welcome everybody to the commentary zone. Today on the docket, we have my favorite show, Married at First Sight Australia, season 6, episode 31 and 32. Last night, I couldn't even take a break. I couldn't go to the restroom. These two episodes was smacking me in my face every 5 seconds. I love this show.
I mean, that's insane. I just don't know what to say. I really don't. It's just woo. But I will say
They
this:
didn't let up.
Jess can pull some stories out of her behind in a minute, whether true or false. She can pull them out.
And then that was in the first part, and first hour, and then the second hour, Mike going Terminator. He just don't care. Oof.
I'm not a fan of men going at women. I'm just not. It's just my personal opinion. Unless they come at you first, then I feel it's fair game. But I was here for Mike on this episode. I really was here for him just going in on Jess, and not letting up. And I felt like what he was doing is what the women should have been doing.
Yeah, or better yet, in this particular situation, it's what Mark and Ning should have been doing.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark was kind of, he didn't know how to handle it, in my opinion.
Because I think he has the same view I do. Men should not approach women, and especially in the aggressive tone. But this was involving him directly, so he had that right.
He kept on focusing on, I don't know how my name got involved in this. That's not the point, boo. That horse left the stable.
True,
Sort it out.
Here's my thing is this. Devil's advocate on this one. Mm-hmm. Why are you so concerned with how your name got into it? Because if you're concerned about the how, that leads me to believe there may be something true. Because if you had done nothing wrong, you just came out the gate swinging like, well, why did you say this?
But that was confirmed by Mick at the dinner table. But we'll get to that because I thought it was confirmed that it was said. Probably not in those base terms. Mm-hmm. Maybe Mick was going to do all of the women. Remember, this girl, for the majority of their time there, hasn't been into Mark.
Right. So basically, the way I took it,
said something to Mick.
He probably said something to Mick, but not in such vulgar terms.
Right.
Because the way I took it was more like, well, there was, when he kept going about how his name was involved, and then I'm like, okay, why are you concerned about that? And then when Mick said what he said, I'm like, wait a minute. So there was some sort of context. There was something there, but not in such vulgar terms. And plus, we have to realize what week were we in. Like, were we in week number 2, 3, 4?
And not only that, remember, it went from at the girls' night, they wanted to go and sleep with a bunch of women, to by the time Ning went to him, it turned into prostitutes. I'm just saying.
Right. Oh, like, prostitutes? I don't really hear.
They went right over that cliff. So I'm going to have to take this with several grains of salt. But let's start at the beginning, y'all. Let's see who's in the room. And as you enter the room, please give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so that you could join us and talk about the ratchet crew of Married at First Sight Australia. So do you want to welcome everybody, Jamal, while I take a sip?
A sip of what? Let's see.
Water!
Let's see. We see Steven's in the house, Susan, Trey, Raydella just got in. Welcome, Raydella. Happy Friday to all. And that's it for now. I think the notification just went out like a minute or two ago, so I have some people going to filter in as we talk.
Yay. Okay, so let's get started on the first hour. So we have Ning and Mark. They're finally having their family day, like from last week. We only
Mm-hmm.
saw some of the couples. So it's basically their friends from their wedding parties, I
Right.
guess, who come over for lunch. I don't like his friends. I like her friends, but I don't like his friends, especially what's his name? Michael. He's a judgmental prat.
I don't mind Mark's friends personally. I mean, that's what friends are, though. That's what friends do. So they're coming from the perspective of what they've been told. So it's like, and what they've seen in front, they don't see it for them based on the level of interaction. But like Ning said, we've come such a long way, and I think what their main issue is that Mark's putting in most of the work, or has put in most of the work. So it's fresh. Mark, that I bet Mark's frustration is filtered onto them.
See, I was giving them the benefit of the doubt, having their boy back and everything until Michael went for the walk with Ning. And, when he said what he had to say, she said, well, how did you come up with that? And he said, basically from your wedding.
Yeah, that wasn't really
The
fair.
wedding was a
Like,
long time ago, and you're not in the marriage. And I think Mark said, was the one that was saying there's a lot happening behind the scenes that
mm-hmm.
no one knows.
Right,
And I feel like if you're going to come at the girl like that, you only met her at the wedding. You're basing all of your judgments on what you saw at the wedding 7 weeks later. I don't think that's fair. I
I
just
agree with that.
saying.
I agree with that.
If he had said something different, well, based on conversations me and Mark had last week, I'd have been like, oh, okay, cool. But she's come a long way from the wedding.
I have to agree with that, and that's why it's such a. That's why it's hard to really ask friends who aren't around you on a day to day about their thoughts. Because if you, it's
Mm-hmm.
like they don't have much context, whereas they're coming from a context of what they know and what they've heard, which is probably really really minimal compared to what you've gone through.
Mm-hmm.
So you're asking them their opinion on minimal context, and then you're getting offended because you have more context. So it's not really fair to both parties in the situation.
But mm-hmm.
Michael is judging on very little context, means her feelings are based on her larger context. So
Mm-hmm.
they're just it's just unfair to both parties to expect each party to have understanding of the other. Because
True. And I want
good.
you to compare. Remember when they did the home week with Ning and he met up with her friends and like they asked questions of both of them. But when they had their critique, it was to her. And it was all on her saying, you need to lower those walls. We know you've been hurt, but this is a good guy. Like they asked both of them and because they know their friend, they took
Right,
it to their friend, if that makes sense.
right,
I just think they handled it differently. And again, subject to editing, I'm going to say
true.
that subject to editing, I think not Mark, Michael probably got a bad edit just to amp up this couple.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put it past. I never put anything past editing nowadays. Never.
Yeah, yeah. But the good thing is that Mark is not giving up. He's seeing, like, he has been plugging away at this for 7 weeks, and he's finally seeing a shift. So he's gonna keep
Hmm.
fighting for her, which I like.
Yeah, he's good people. So
Mm-hmm.
he's like 7 weeks later, I'm still here. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Next, we see Jessica and Mick, like the end of their disastrous dinner with her dad, her brother, and then Mick's sister and dad. Well, we really focused on his sister.
correct.
Remember, the sister said nothing at the
Mm-mm.
table.
She
But
was teasing Jessica the whole time.
she goes on the walk with Jessica, and she's like, she feels based on everything that Jessica did and said at that lunch that it's not adding up. And so then she kind of says it but doesn't say it, that she's a liar during their walk. And I
Yeah,
loved it.
she hinted obviously like you're a liar,
Mhm.
which is what sisters do when she's a good judge of character. So good job,
Mhm.
Lisa.
Yeah. I loved how she did though. She goes that her brother is looking for somebody genuine, and Jessica asks,
That took me out. That took me
I
out. When she said that.
know. And Jessica is like, do you think that I'm a liar? And Lisa says, I don't know you, but if Mick thinks that you've lied, that's a definite no-no for him. Oof.
Speak on it, Lisa. Speak on it. That was good.
Wow. Let's see. Then, okay, so all of those family dinners are over. We see the couples getting ready for a final night out. They're having a boys and girls night out separately. Um, this could only end in disaster.
Of course.
Jesus. And the boys' night out, it opens up with Michael feeling really uneasy because I guess Martha told him everything of what's going on between
Yes.
Jess and Dan, and he's
Mm-hmm.
not comfortable. But he also wants to see how this is gonna go.
Right. I would too,
He
honestly.
ain't no better than Martha.
Honest. No.
Mm-mm. What else oh, we see Mick saying that he is done. It's over. How many weeks has he been saying this now?
4, right? 4. Am I right?
Probably more. Probably more. Like, I don't know how many times he can say this, but of course, Mr. Optimistic Cameron, he jumps in and he's just like, he wanted to clarify that if they would end as friends, he just wants everybody to be happy, it seems. Or he wants everybody to experience the happiness that he's feeling. I
I
don't
agree
know
with that.
which.
I think it's more
Yeah,
the
it's just
happiness that
very
he's
weird.
feeling.
And Dan looks real uncomfortable during their exchange, and Michael is just like looking at Dan as if he's expecting Dan to say something. No.
Right. They're just waiting for him to say something. They're like, just get out of line one time.
Mm-hmm. So then we see Mark, and he's talking about Ning's red dress. Ooh, he really did like that outfit, didn't he? And that this could be the night that he gets him.
Well, good luck with that.
I know. Then we focus on Dan, and he says that there's no spark for him with Tam. He wants goosebumps. His heart and head are with his heart and head is with Jess.
Yeah, that was weird.
He needs to get that sorted out.
He really does.
But Cameron, here we go again. He's jumping in. This is Jules. This is the Jules speaking through Cam at this boys' night. Cam asks if Dan has any feelings for any of the other partners. Jesus.
Good job, Cam. Good job.
Oh my God. And Dan, this dummy, says that that Jessica, no offense to Mick, but Jessica is really hot or some shit like that. I don't know. God.
That was
And
too funny
then
when he just blurted that out. I'm like, oof.
But then Mike jumps in and says, has anything happened?
That was too funny. Mike is just so messy.
He is. But then he gets this fool Dan to admit that he's had conversations with her at the dinner parties, but nothing more. Nobody believes that.
Yeah, no one's going for that because everyone knows y'all be missing at the same time. Come on now.
You know, Dan is like, he has his issues with Tam. But he needs to know where this is going to go with Jess outside of the experiment, and if he had like met her at a bar or something, she would
Hmm.
have been like totally his type or something. I don't
Right.
know. Like, I think he was sinking his ship with these little admissions because in
Mhm.
my head, crumbs make cookies,
That's
if
fair.
that
I
makes
mean,
sense.
he's all these hands. He's just pretty much out. He's pretty much outed the couple, so might as well just go full force on it.
But here's the thing. Michael actually says that he doesn't think anybody suspects at the table what's going on with Dan. But Cam's question and Mike's question leads me to believe that they suspect.
I think Mike suspects and Jules suspects, but Jules is speaking through Cam on this one.
I'll go with you on that. I'll go with
That's
you
the
on
that's
that.
the that's the way it looks to me because
Okay.
Cam doesn't really get involved, and Jules has been really vocal about the situation. So I think that's the way I see it.
Mm. Michael does say it's hard to sit there and listen to Dan blatantly lie.
Yep.
But you still said, well, then again, it's
Hmm.
not his place to say anything. Yeah,
But
whatever.
he can't say anything because he's got to go report back to Martha, so she can go back and report to Jess so they can formulate a plan. It's all a plot.
Oh my God. Um, let's see. We get back to Mark, and he's really talking so beautifully about Ning and, what she's taught him, like to be himself, and he genuinely likes her. They have fun together. Did he say he might have found the L word with her?
I thought I heard that.
I thought so too. I was like, wait, we there already? Oh no.
I mean, you
Oh
could see it,
no.
but you could see it between those two though. But for me,
Mm-hmm.
you can definitely see it.
And then Mick praises Mark for like finding that with Ning. I thought that was really kind of him considering like how bad his, relationship went with Jess.
I agree, but Mick was over just weeks ago, so
Mm-hmm.
he feels like even though it wouldn't work out for me, I'm still happy for my friends. That
Yeah,
kind
but
of deal.
he's super bitter about being stuck there for all
Hmm.
these weeks though. And sometimes that can be projected on others, but I think these two have like a really good friendship though.
Have you noticed it's like all the men have a good friendship with each other?
Well, they behave like regular
Adults.
people when they go out. Yeah. And Heidi brings it up at the girls' night, which I thought was really spot on. The girls focus on tearing each other down or others down, whereas the boys have really rallied together, even though some of them are being deceitful.
Yes, but the men have always been that way since the first episode, though. To be honest,
Mhm.
so I've always
Mhm.
enjoyed that. The women have just been out of control. Starting with Ennis doing what she was doing, and oof, that was, yeah, that was. It's so funny too.
What
Like Ennis was just so long ago.
I know. I know. But she was at the last girls' night that went completely left.
Right.
Oof. They don't have good girls' activities. I'll just say that.
Well, it's because Cyril wants to call everybody out.
But but Cyril not you can't blame tonight on Cyril though.
No, no, this is not Cyril at this point. But had
Okay, so
had Cyril
mhm,
been there, it would have been way worse, and I'd have been here for
probably a
it.
fight. Probably a fight. It probably would have gotten physical. Or somebody throwing a beverage at the
Beverages,
very
yes.
least.
Hmm.
Um, the boys have a sing along. That was so cheesy.
Of course.
Did somebody say that if Mark like gets some from Ning tonight, they're all gonna feel like they had some too?
That's why I could have sworn I was like, oh.
And then they said, I know that sounds like really off, but you know what I mean. And I'm like, who the hell said that? I could not pick up the voice at all. But let's go over to the girls' night. And you see Heidi hoping that this night is going to be less dramatic than the last one. And of course, Jess is trying to keep her secret. She's amping it up for the camera. They sit down and Ning shares that she's still not been intimate with Mark, but I guess she's good at second base. The other girls encourage her to like go all the way. What good friends. I miss Cyril. Yes, I miss Cyril too. Heidi has become insufferable too. This is the third week in a row I have been team Mike. Yes. Yes, Trey. We agree with you too.
But Heidi, I don't really get her because, again, she finds an issue in everything he does. Like, my whole thing is this, and I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Mike is, defending his friend. And I feel like, he's not being out of line. He's just being very pointed. And let's call a thing a thing. Y'all all have talked about the situation at some point. So for him just to call it out is not a problem for me. And there's no reason for you to be mad at him for sticking up for his friend, because she even said, like, I understand he's sticking up for his friend. Like, well, if you understand it, then quit being mad about it. I'm not being mad about someone doing the right thing. I'm just not.
I get where you're coming from, but it's just some of the things he says and the tone he takes and the perch he gets on can be a bit condescending and chauvinistic. And I did notice a change in the way Heidi reacted this time, because in previous situations, she blows up. And I know I'm jumping ahead too, but at the dinner table, she spoke to him in a calm manner. It was just the two of them talking. Their voices were normal. And she explained her point. He explained his, and they stopped. She didn't let it spiral out of control.
Right. I agree. But I want to go back to Mike real quick. My thing is this. He said nothing wrong. But I can understand, like, maybe he shouldn't have been the one to say it given his speech patterns. But I'm not going to get offended about how someone talks to somebody else when it wasn't directed at me. I'm not going to feel a way for someone else.
He did say one thing wrong. That thing about keep to your knitting.
I was like, oh, and I'm not gonna lie, I was with him.
Until that.
I was like, oh my, good job. Then when he said the knitting, I'm like, oh, well, I'm still with you, but you didn't need to say that point. That's chauvinistic.
Because it cuts off what he was trying to do. And then, like the expert said, I know we've jumped way ahead, but the expert said that he gets lost in his argument because he does go off on he like brings in every single thing that this girl done from birth. Just focus on the one situation.
Like, he starts off really good. In his points, but then when he's trying to connect the dots, for him, it's not like his dots don't connect in like a straight line. His dots, he'll connect one dot and they'll spider into like 4 other dots. It's like, oh.
Wait, you lost. Oh, Martha's Michael. Susan, you lost respect for him because he kept quiet about the secret. Oh dear. I think it's, Ray Della, that's a good point. It's his defense mechanism. Yeah, I can go with that too. Yeah, yeah. And Ray Della Heidi does have to get out of her own way. But today, this episode, at dinner especially, I really feel like she handled it different. Like she's finally learning from her past spirals to that's not effective. It
You know
isn't.
what? You know what? She didn't get hyper emotional.
Mm-hmm.
She just
Yeah.
kept it like kept it to the point she wanted to make, and then she just
Mm-hmm.
kept it there. So I think she did a
Yeah.
great job. This week, even though I kind of felt like the conversation didn't need to be had because it was his fight. I get where she's coming from. I really believe she
Mm-hmm.
really improved in how she handled it. So kudos to her for that.
And also what she said, sometimes people don't want to hear your advice. Just wait until they
Mm-hmm.
ask for it. And
That was
even
great.
then, don't expect them to listen to it if they're not ready. He
That
does
was
offer
great.
advice without, yeah. He just throws it out there and thinks that everybody needs to hear what he has to say. And sometimes it's best to just stay quiet.
Mm-hmm.
They were both more dull. Yep, Ray Della. Yeah, yeah. But I wonder if that's a sign of them just being over it. Like they don't care enough to fight about it anymore.
I like to think of it like they're just learning from each other.
Mm. Um, I want to know, okay, I want to know what happened that Jessica and Martha have fight. Jessica had to apologize to Martha. Well, that didn't happen in these two episodes, so we'll see. You know, Jessica has a way of biting the hand that feeds her. So you never know. Okay, so then we hear from Tam, and she says that they haven't been intimate since the honeymoon. Martha jumps in and says, "Ooh, that's the friend zone, of course. Let's make this
Mm-hmm.
worse for poor little Tam."
Right.
Um,
But I'm gonna say this. I'm not a fan of Martha. Don't care about her. But she's an excellent wing woman. Like we have to give her props. She plays her role to the hilt.
you know what it is? She expertly works both ends of the candle without burning the middle. She really does. She agitates a situation just to the point before anything could fall back on her. But I wonder how long that will last with people like Mike in this
Mm-hmm.
group.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah, because it's just my thing with the situation is I would love for the ladies to really just call a thing and really just get to the point. Quit trying to make her say it. You just need to say what you have to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like Jules, like you could tell she's holding back. But she said like, you know what, we have a few weeks left. I'm not trying to get involved in this. I think had this been earlier in the season, she may be more vocal.
Do
That's just
you
my
think that
opinion.
they're holding back because they don't have concrete proof? And
That
women
too.
like Jules and Ning don't like to say anything unless they have proof. Like they don't deal in rumor.
I agree with that. They need receipts
Okay. Mm.
or
Well,
corroboration of another complicit party.
well, Ning is still holding on to what Cyril said last week about Jessica saying to her that
Mm-hmm.
she wanted to have sex with Dan, and that actually comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Jess and Martha actually go off alone to
Like as
talk, but they're
usual.
talking so loud that the other girls at the table can hear them. And they're talking about Dan, and Tam is hearing it.
He's sitting right
And
there.
Jules is like, you need to say something about this. Poor Jules. But and Ning also says she doesn't like to start rumors, but she feels like something is going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so like, how could those two numbnuts stand up there and talk so loudly about that woman husband?
Because no one's called them out.
Oh my god. Let's see. Okay, so when they get back to the table, I guess that's when they drop the bomb on Ning, because Jessica, like they start coming down on Jessica, asking her all these questions with regards to Dan. She's denying everything, but in her head, she's like, "Oh, I need to get the pressure off of me."
Right.
So
Exactly.
Ning, do you know that Mark said he don't like you, and he's told Mick that they're gonna go and have sex with all of these bitches after the experiment is over? So don't get your hopes up. You should leave. What?
Total
That was
deflection.
disgusting.
Now, who said it was total?
Disgusting.
Who said it was total deflection? Was it
It was either Tam or
Tam?
Jules.
Jules? I think it was Tam. It was Tam.
Yeah. Yep.
I remember brunette hair. I'm like, it was Tam.
Yeah. Tam says it's bullshit. Martha says it's true, and then Tam says in a confessional she thinks that Jess is deflecting. But the damage is done. Ning starts to have doubts.
Yeah, and they knew what they were doing. But I'm proud of Ning for not getting super mad, but going to talk to Mark and let him know what was said. This and that. He's like, why would they do that? And she believes him because in her mind, she don't trust Jess either because she's piecing together the bits of information they've gotten. Like, because like you have to go back to the whole situation with Nick. So they have a good body of work to work with.
But Ning catches back herself and she asks Jessica, when was this said? And Jessica's like, oh, 2 weeks ago. And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me 2 weeks ago? And Martha jumps in because Jessica seems to be a little tipsy and says that, sometimes things need to marinate. This is not a steak, bitch. Like, what do you mean marinate?
Right.
And she always has it. I hate Martha. I really do. She's so aggravating. And then she brings up, because Ning still doesn't understand why they would not, or Jess would not have told her. And Martha then says, girl code. How is this girl code? And is it also like, isn't your friend breaking girl code by going after Tam's husband?
Just a smidge.
Convenient girl code.
Okay, so real quick, so Stephen Crisco asks, okay, I see season 6, episode 24 about the dinner party, or episode 26 burning during Bridget's Day. I told Stephen start at 24.
Yeah.
I think we want to start at 24.
Yeah.
I think that's about the one. Yeah, that sounds about right. So that's what. See, episode 24, we're like, what's like 4 weeks? Yeah, a month. Yeah, 4 weeks. 4 weeks ago. Yeah, that's good. That's a good place to start.
Let's see. Jules tries to reassure Ning. And she tells her, like, you know your gut and trust that. And then talk to Mark. I mean, good Lord. Jules says in her confessionals that you don't make statements like this in a group setting to hurt, other people. You tell them privately. And then she says it might not be true. But Ning, ever, the lady, she thanks them for the information, but wish she knew before. Getting the feels, as she calls it. Then Jess has to throw in there for good measure. Get rid of the feels because he lies to you.
I thought it was interesting that Ning told her thank you, and I was like, ooh, that was dripping with sarcasm. I was like, good job, Ning. You're not gonna let her shake you like that. Great job.
And then this is where, okay, so Jules doesn't like it, and she thinks it's total BS. Heidi has had enough. And this is where Heidi says that she's jealous of how the boys get on, and the girls don't look after each other. Ning asks, let's see. Oh, this is when Ning says, I think that the two couples, Jess and Mick and Ning and Mark, need to get together and discuss it. And Jessica, she asked Jessica if she's open to that. She goes, sure, whenever. And Ning says, tomorrow. We're going to talk this out tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
And just starts sweating.
And yeah, and that's the end of the night. Like they never have a successful girls' night out. And Heidi is right. They don't have each other's back. They don't support each other. That's the difference, I think, between their MAFS and then the US MAFS, because no matter what happened, the girls had a camaraderie, you know,
Right.
and these women do not.
They do, but
It's
Jess
two
and
different
Martha.
camps.
Yes, it's Jess and Martha, and then you have the other girls who are actually wanting to be there and do the right thing. So, and if you notice, it's the younger girls against like the more mature girls, or I should say ladies. Have you noticed that? Because Martha and Jess, I believe, are the youngest.
Probably with Tam. Tam might be young like them, but she's.
I think Tam is 29. So yeah, she is. But, yeah, but she's no, but she's mature. You know, she handles it.
Well, they're trying to take. Well, not they. Jess is trying to take her husband, so
yeah,
she gets put out of the bad girl clique.
Exactly. It's just ridiculous.
So it's the next morning. We see Jules and Cameron loved up. They're all obviously talking about each other's night. Ning and Mark, they did not have sex. She is still bristling about what was said. And she talks to him about it. And it's not in an accusatory way. She just says what she heard. And he says it's BS. He's pissed that someone who has caused trouble throughout is now causing trouble in his relationship.
They handled it so well.
Noticed that. Yeah, even he noticed like Jess is a constant troublemaker throughout.
And that pasta did look good too, by the way. But you know.
Yeah. You know, she take care of him. Ning tells him about the meeting. And he's okay with that. And she says she's going to have faith in her husband. I think that's huge for her.
It is. She's come a long way.
Yeah. So cocktail party rolls around. Ning and Mark are first to arrive. Martha and Michael are second. I don't think it was that tense. But we'll talk about that later.
It was for Martha, because she's so heavily involved in the situation. So it wasn't tense between Ning and Mark and Martha and Michael. It was tense for Martha only.
Yeah. And she goes and tells Jess that when she arrives, that, oh my God, it's been so tense. It's just, oh, God. Shut up, girl. Shut up. I find these girls thrive on drama, whether it's there or not.
Yes.
Let's see. So Jess and Mick are the last to arrive. You know, of course, first thing, Jess and Martha have their little meeting to figure out strategy. And as soon as they come back and join the rest of the group, before Jess could plant her ass in that chair, Mike is on it.
Mike plays no games. He was going in for the kill. He's like, you know what? He was looking at Mark like, you gonna say something? No, okay, I got you. And he just went in.
Did you see the seating? It was Mark, Dan, and Mike. Dan caught in the middle.
Right. They shaded. They were so shady for that seating, because didn't Jess want to sitting next to Mark?
Wait, that's dinner. We're still at the cocktail party. So on the sectional couch, it was Mark, Dan in the middle, and then Mike. And you're just like, wait, what? So, you know, and this is where, you know, Mike, I know he had good intentions.
Yes.
And he did want to get to the bottom of what was said the night before, because all the women had told the men what was said. So there was no secrets there, right? So he wanted to know why she said it.
We all had
She
a
says,
little
"I'll have
time
to
talking
explain
about
that to
like
you."
right, but we were all we all had our little pom poms on our side like go Mike go, go Mike go. We were all with him like do it do it do it.
Yep, and just handled herself very well, saying, we're supposed to meet and talk about it as the two couples privately. I don't have to explain anything to you. You're not involved. And when he says he thinks that she should say it out loud to all of them for the other relationships, and then that knitting comment. Like, I could have almost got on board with him
No,
until
we were
he
on board.
says, "Stick to your knitting."
We were all on board. Let's not pretend. We were all on board with Mike. Like go Mike go pom poms everything. But when he made the nitty comment, we all went for the lifeboat.
And then Dan is sitting there and he has a little private confessional saying, he feels awkward because he can't stand up for Jess. And the experts are there looking at this going, what the hell? But they're also surprised that Mark didn't say anything after all this was about him.
Real quick, Steven, the one poor girl alone in the car. Who's alone?
There was a girl alone in the car? Was that Cyril? Are you looking at an old episode? Because
Yeah,
I
that's
think
probably
Cyril was the last person to
was.
come alone. I think after the homestay. Y'all notice how they love to show Mike ironing topless every time they're preparing to go to. Yes! And I do enjoy those moments. He's cute. Well, neck down. And then they're interrupted. Jess is saved because dinner is served. They go into the dinner party, and Mike is seated next to Jess. Oof.
That was hilarious.
It was. But it starts off pretty nice because he looks at her and he goes, "Are we okay?" And she goes, "Yes, we're fine." And I'm thinking all is good. They are done.
For some reason I thought Mark was sitting next to Jess. I don't know why I heard Mark.
No, I think Mark is next to Ning and Dan. Like Ning is on one side and Dan is on the other, but the other side of the table.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know why I heard Mark, but it was Mike.
It's Mike, because remember later on in the dinner, Jessica asked to trade seats with Mark and she has to walk all the way around the table.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And because she wants to get to Dan, who's next to him. Oh my God, this is so stupid. So then she tries to keep it nice by asking him about the mascara or eyeliner that Heidi put on him. And he's like, "Oh, Heidi thought that it'd make my eyes pop."
Okay.
I have to admit, I put mascara on a guy's eyelashes before, but I did it because he had very long eyelashes and I wanted to see if it would touch his eyebrows. It didn't, but he indulged me. I think guys like makeup. Anyway.
Right. I'm gonna let you keep that.
He asks her if they could be friends. She says yes, and all is good with the world. Until he says, at some point, you have to be accountable. What happened to being friends?
Right.
He says that she can create drama out of a fresh suit. No, out of fresh air or something like that.
Right.
It was something really weird that I'm not used to hearing, but God bless him. Michael then says, "Why don't you let Mark talk? Because it's his issue." And Mike just keeps on going in on Jess. And Heidi kind of like, she does one of these. It just turns away.
She's trying to hide. She's trying to hide. They're like, Heidi, you can't hide. Just support your husband.
She just turns away, and it's cute. I love it. But again, I think it's a different way of her handling these hot button situations.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. Mark finally speaks up, and he says, "I don't understand how I got dragged into this." And then Jess apologizes for how she said it. He accepts it if she's sincere, but she should have also said that it was a lie. Like, but she didn't. She just apologized for how she said it. And then Ning steps up because Mark, I feel, just wants to stop talking about it, period. Ning steps up and says, was there any truth? Was there any truth to it? And what was said? And Mick steps forward and says, no. And after last night, they know he's all in. I didn't like that answer.
I'm
with you on that answer. Then Dan, says something that I thought was really sweet. He says, look, last night, all he could talk about was that beautiful red dress and how you looked in it, and I think that was what diffused her a little bit. Give Dan credit for being a schmoozer. He knows how to talk to women. Pity he didn't use none of that on Tam, but I digress. He really came in there and settled. He did. He diffused, her with just the right thing. And I'm glad that he did it. And then he stands up and he makes a toast.
Sometimes you just don't need to make a toast. Sometimes you just need to let things. Be just a smidge.
Oh God. Then we see a cute little excerpt with Mick, and he's serving. He says it's risotto to Jules and Cam, and then Jules goes, "That's not risotto. That's just rice or something." He says, "I am a steak and potatoes kind of man. I don't know what the hell we're eating here, but just eat up." Mark asked Martha. I thought this was a really good question that Mark had for Martha. He asked her what she would tell herself at the hen night if she knew then what she knows now. Now, the hen night is all the way, their very first meeting, the girls, at the beginning of the experiment. And she lies at first. He tells her, not lies, she gives some stupid answer. And he says, no, that's not the question. And she follows up with, I wouldn't be so paranoid and realize that there are some nice people out there. And she's lucky to have Michael. So I thought that was like, there are parts of Martha small parts that seem genuine. And then there's the rest of Martha.
Small parts.
Let things marinate. No toasting needed. Let's see. What else has happened? I think this is when Jess switches seats with Mark so that she can be next to Dan. And the experts zone in on this. And they're like, after all of the drama that she's caused, she has no shame. She goes straight over there and starts flirting with him at the dinner table. They zoom in on her hand placement, body placement, what they're talking about. They don't hold back on her.
No, nor should they.
Mm-mm. They also notice Mike, and they don't think that he can let go of what he started at the cocktail party. Oof.
I agree. Mike holds on to things. So I won't say he holds on to things. When he feels things are unresolved, he won't let it go. If that makes sense.
Yes. And so Jess's buddy Martha goes and asks Mike if he's okay, and he starts up again. He starts talking about Jess. Jess overhears and says, "Are you still talking about me?" They have an interaction. It's just ridiculous. But this is where Heidi and him, I guess have their. Is this where Heidi tells him that spiel about not everybody wants to hear what you have to say?
Oh, after they have their conversation? Like the
Mm-hmm.
sidebar? Yes, because this is after the experts made the same point.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just trying to say, like, hey, I'm just thinking of my friend. She's like, I understand that. And he was saying something. She's like, you know what? Sometimes people just don't want to hear what you have to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think the fact that she said in a calm manner
Yeah.
just shut him down.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy that he is like a dog with a bone, and you want to be on his side, but he gets derailed a lot in his targeting of people. But Jess and Dan go outside to their patio to have a little kissy poo, little talk, and they decide they want to move forward with their relationship. They want to vote to go to leave with their to leave and end their relationships with their current partners. Jesus Christ. Sorry about that, guys. Their current partners, but see if they could ask the experts to re-enter the experiment with them as a couple.
That,
What?
yeah, no.
You can't do that.
Mm-mm. It's in the contract. No, ma'am.
I thought the experts had to pick the couples, not
Right.
the
Not
couples.
you. Not the couples.
This is a twist. I wasn't expecting this. Awesome curveball. But they seem to think that this is okay. What do they be doing down there in Australia?
It's a no holds barred out there in Australia. I'm just saying. They just do they just do what they want to do. They just go with it. I think with them, they look at it as like an actual social experiment. So they
Uh-huh.
know things are going to happen. They're like, well, like this is a part of the experiment, so why not?
Okay, so Steven is asking, is Jess sleeping with the other chick's husband? They're saying no, but I
I
feel
think they have. I think they have. You can't tell me nothing.
because remember, Jess and Mick are not in the same room.
Right.
He could come over there for an afternoon delight. Y'all remember that song? Afternoon delight.
I mean, you can't tell me that y'all ain't slept together yet. You could say it, but I'm not buying it.
Yeah, so on the show they're saying they've only kissed, but I'm just saying the opportunity is there to go further because Jess is alone in her apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that. So yeah, they have that.
And we all. Sorry to interrupt, but we have to go
Mhm,
back because remember they slept together. Tam and Dan slept together the honeymoon night, and
mhm,
then he was ready to go, but she kind of held back, and then they slept together again because he wanted some, right? That was like a week
mhm.
later. You gonna tell me a man with his sex drive is gonna wait all this time to to, for more sex? Come on now.
Mhm.
And he's not sleeping with his wife. Y'all haven't been intimate since the honeymoon night. She said they hadn't been intimate since the honeymoon night. Come on now.
Oh, I don't think she gave in the first night. It was from the
The
honeymoon
second
though.
honeymoon, yeah, the
Yeah,
honeymoon.
because remember he said we didn't have anything. She's trying to be a good girl.
Right.
And then he took her out onto some pasture or something like that for a
Yeah,
picnic. And then they came back and then they did it. So
right.
yeah, it was like the second night of the honeymoon or something like that. He had to work for it. He looks guilty. Oh, Steven. He is guilty. Dan really thinks that he could build a life with Jessica. Introduce his son to her.
Okay.
That she could be the type of woman that he could fall in love with. Who's he looking at?
Right.
Is he not seeing all the ignorance that she's causing?
Mm-mm.
That's another reason that I feel that they've been intimate.
Yeah.
He's pee-whipped.
I just don't see
I
it.
truly feel that.
I don't see the interest in her.
It,
I'm just her personality.
I don't either.
It's just no. And like when you're a parent, you need to be very careful who you introduce your child to. And to me, she's like
Mhm.
a part of the population in Thoughtopia. So yeah, no.
The one thing I did agree with Mike on was when he said it's not all about social media and doing a selfies and doing a trout lip. I was like, what?
Yeah. I was like, oof.
And she turned around with her 2 trout lips sticking out there going, what? And I was just like, girl, this is what he's talking about. I was back on the bandwagon when he said that, even though it had nothing to do with the situation, but I was in total agreements with him. Let's see. Okay, so they come back in to the dinner, but you notice that Ning has been watching and noticed that they came back in almost together, but she says that they came back in together. And she is like she's remembering what Cyril said about what Jess said about wanting to have sex with Dan. So she comes back and she sits next to Jessica sits next to Ning. So Ning starts asking her some questions. Oh wait, no. Before Ning's asked her the question. Oh no. I am getting myself mixed up. Ning does ask her the questions.
Yeah.
She asks her, since she noticed them returning together, she says that there's something off, that she's not, telling the whole truth about spending time with Dan. And Jess is a little tipsy, and she yells across to Dan, are we spending time together? Or something like that. It was just so weird.
There's some accusations going on over here.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
Between these two, when they are in their cups, they're just messy. How nobody is putting this together is beyond me.
They're putting it together, but they have no proof. Like you said earlier, and it was a great point. Like Jules, Ning, they're Tam, they all know what's going on, but they just don't have any tangible proof.
But did you notice that Tam also started paying attention to that conversation when Jess started screaming across the table to Dan? Like, she's seeing all of this, and I think slowly but surely she's just giving up. This is why she's not opening up to him, because she can see it. Jess then takes Martha outside to talk. She says that they kiss. She tells Martha the plan about both of them leaving their partners to come back in as a couple together. But she leaves out the part about asking the experts. It's like a done deal for her. She's just going to get back into the experiment with a different spouse. Martha tells her that there will always be people who don't like her. If she feels so strong for Dan, just take it on the chin, meaning what everyone else in the group will say, and go for it. Martha does tell her, Martha gave her, I thought this was a very good piece of advice. If you are going to do this, talk to Tam first, because Martha has been the one running interference with Tam, and I
Exactly.
think she actually likes Tam.
And I think this is where
It ends.
Jess
Yeah.
throws Martha under the bus because she can't take the heat.
Oof. Oof. But to Martha's credit, she does defend her next week at the commitment ceremony. She does play defense attorney 1. And next week is just going to be a triple shot of fireball to your chest. It really is. It is so messy. And just what the doctor ordered, quite honestly.
This show just keeps on giving.
This was a lot, y'all. This was a lot.
But we're on episode what? 32, and it's still
32.
and we're still wanting more.
Well,
Whereas
yes.
with MAFS, we wanted the show over after the weddings because we didn't care.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
yeah. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about MAFS USA and their reunion?
I can't talk about something I didn't watch.
You didn't watch it?
I
don't blame
refuse to.
you.
I refuse to because I saw like what you said on Heidi's show,
Yeah.
Auntie's advice. I think it wasn't somebody else. Everyone had the same critiques. Like, why was this on our TV screen? And I was gonna try to watch it, to review it. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to subject myself because I checked out on this like a couple weeks ago. I suffered
Yeah.
through the season. I'm not suffering through this reunion because I call it like the last 15 minutes of it when the whole Pastor Dwight Chris situation
Yeah.
came up. I caught that last segment. I'm like, this is all I need to see. This is all. I'm good. This is all I need to see. And then this is all anyone talks about, I'm not going to spend what 2.5 hours of my time watching this mess. And I suffered through this whole season. Paige still looking a fool. Like, get out of here.
I will say this. I am truly disappointed in the American Married at First Sight. This was horrendous, especially comparing like last season's. I love last season's
Last
because
season
I
was good
hadn't
though.
watched it. Yeah, I hadn't watched it in many, many years. Last season, I was very happy with it. I went into this season with an open mind, and I have been sorely let down. This is a joke. And they're going to Dallas next. Is that the next thing?
Yes.
I am putting on my Bravo glasses with them. And I'm not here for this foolishness. Either you're going to be a totally nasty, sloppy, messy show like Australia, because we all know that they don't put these people together for real marriages. They have not had one successful marriage until Jules and Cam. Okay? Either you need to be ratchet or you need to be serious. I don't think this is serious. That's just my opinion.
This was just terrible, and it was painful. I mean, it's bad to stop caring after the wedding because you kind of knew what was going to happen. Because remember, we called all the couples like from the gate, and it happened just the way we saw it. There was no progression. There was no growth. I mean, this is just like, I'm sorry, you should not have a couple who is married on the reunion talking about we have a big surprise, big news. To me, big news is like you're pregnant with twins. That is big news. That is wonderful news. But for you to come out and say that, oh my God, he used the L word, I'm gonna need you to get all the way off my screen.
Hold on. Didn't she announce the big news, which was their vow renewal, right?
I didn't watch it, so I really can't tell you. I heard that he used the L word. Was that
Hold on. She announced the vow renewal, the big surprise vow renewal, before he told her that he loved her. That's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, I want you to get off my screen.
And that's why I was never rocking with Clara or Ryan.
I just thought they would stay together. And they of all the okay, let me put it this way. and y'all can disagree. Based on the couples we had, they were my favorite couple because I thought that they had the highest chance of staying married. And mind you, I'm only comparing them to the rat trap couples that we have on this show.
They was trash from the beginning. I love me an Ewok, but he turned my mind against him. Sorry. And then this little thing about, did we sleep together? Didn't we sleep together? Who knows? You still waiting for that dick, girl. Good luck.
I hope it's worth. I hope those bonuses are worth it. Don't they get a bonus if they stay together for a year? Get that bonus. Get that check. I'm not mad at you. But I will say, the snippets I did see of Paige, that's the best she's ever looked. Kudos.
I'm just so not interested.
Nope.
Wait. And Kevin had to pull it out of Ewok that he loved her. And he's like, well, I guess I do love her. What?
I guess. Like, it's just something to do.
I can't stand them. He was, coaxed into telling her that he loved her. It was 2 hours of lies. Trey thinks that he's gay. I don't even think he's good enough to be gay. I think he's an amoeba at this point. I wish he would just own it. Yeah. Jen says that she feels that he's wait, no. Is that a question, or are you agreeing with Trey? I'm not sure.
No, it looks like a declarative statement.
Oh, okay. He is gay, Trey. Yeah. Y'all so messy. But if Clara doesn't mind being his beard forever, good for him.
I mean,
Right, but he's getting buddy passes on an airline. What is she getting? She's not getting anything.
That's her fault. Yeah, this was a tragic. Here's the thing: if I were Lifetime, MAFS, US, I would literally burn the season and try to pretend it doesn't exist. Because last season, like we said, was so
I don't have much
entertaining.
hope for Dallas. I know you're looking forward to Dallas. I don't have much hope for them.
So sorry. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, back to MAFS, Australia, to wrap this up. This was another stellar 2-hour episode. I mean, I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, so this was Married at First Sight Australia, Season 6, Episode 31 and 32. Let us know your comments below. Let us know what you think about this show, this episode. It was jam-packed. The 2 hours go by so quickly with this show. It's just a joy to watch. So let us know. Give us a thumbs up because we asked you to. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And most importantly, tell a friend. Have them come and join our silly little conversations.
Yep.
Thanks so much for sticking with us today throughout this crazy episode.
Thanks, everyone.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Cool. Until next time.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.